And that's how the taxes, they think about everything in the human body, they own the rights to. And if they don't own it yet, by God, they're going to have it done. So for this morning, we've got, following is the UN Deputy Secretary General Asha Rose Migiro's informal briefing to the General Assembly on the rule of law today, the 2nd of October. This is in the United Nations. We give money to the United Nations. Right now, the United Nations and George Clooney have a little video that goes, oh, give us a short little video and ask us 5 questions that you would ask the world leaders. Well, if Ban Ki-moon is our world leader, why don't you tell me who are the other global leaders of the other planets and what their frickin' names are and why you need to exist to keep us down? Because all they view us as, they've been doing this for a long frickin' time, and now they want to make sure they got everything sealed up. So she goes off on, thank you for participating in this briefing as Deputy Secretary General and as Chair of the Rule of Law Coordination and Resource Group. I am pleased to accept the General Assembly's invitation to interact with member states. I will use this opportunity to provide an overview of actions taken by the group to enhance system-wide coordination and coherence, and to tell you about the actions that are planned for the remainder of the year, this year. As you know, the rule of law is a complex field linked to critical issues such as peace building, the environment, gross violations of human rights, and counterterrorism. And as the Secretary General's recent report noted, the United Nations is currently conducting rule of law activities in more than 120 countries in all regions of the globe. So everything going on in Montana, and everything's cool, and it's okay, and it's just black water. Well, it seems like the hens have come to roost in everyone's countries. It's just not America's problems. We've just got the majority of the weapons. Who's backing? Who's got the money? China, Britain, who supposedly helped colonize China and all that. Britain. Who had their foot in everyone's asses? Britain. Who got all the goods? Britain. So strengthening the rule of law is central to achieving the United Nations vision for a just, secure, and peaceful world. The Rule of Law Resource and Coordination Group, supported by Rule of Law Unit, has marshaled the United Nations system's unique wealth of expertise and resources. While we have far to go, I am pleased to be able to update you on the initiatives taken to date. This is the first year that the group, with the support of the unit, is implementing the Joint Strategic Plan, a results-oriented roadmap that sets out targeted initiatives and outcomes for the next 3 years. The plan is for the first of its kind in the rule of law field and marks a significant step in bringing together the 9 leading United Nations departments and agencies engaged in rule of law activities to work in coordination towards joint outcomes. But what do I know? I'm just a dummy says. Dummy, this is just comedy. This is One principal aim of the plan is to strengthen coherence, quality, and coordination of policy and guidance within the organization. To this end, guidance notes have been deployed for key cross-cutting issues, including rule of law assistance at the national level, justice for children, and constitution making. Because what do we keep doing? I love the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the whole, I was in the military and I can use that veteran crutch and say whatever I want about it. Well, the thing is that we're waving American flags and they're just logos, trademarks. That's what everyone's doing around the globe, is just waving registered trademarks around. The guidance for the Secretary General outlines the principles and framework for a common United Nations approach so as to increase system-wide effectiveness. The group is currently developing a system-wide training program to reinforce such an approach. A second principal aim of the plan is to implement the common approach at a national level. The group is consulting with the country presences to identify a country in which to undertake a pilot program that will involve the development of shared methodologies for joint assessment, strategy formulation, and joint programming. Who could that be? The countries being considered must meet basic criteria developed by the group, including a significant degree of United Nations rule of law programming on the ground with the national and United Nations leadership in the country feel would benefit from increased support. The plan's third main goal is to reinforce global action for the rule of law at the national and international levels. Moving this agenda forward requires engagement, and innovation by member states. With this in mind, earlier this year, the unit initiated a dialogue with member states which drew a tremendous turnout and response. I look forward to hearing the views of member states this month during the 6th committee discussions, because if you want money and you want to be part of the World Bank and exist in the new version, then you better kiss their butt and get in line. Even the Pope is a member of the United Nations, and it has its own little, well, I'm really not a country or state, but I get that special little spot where I have a say. You know, he really doesn't even get to vote, but he has a say, and he's in his roster, a pecking order. If you're part of a secret society or you're in a fraternity, you understand the roster number and the pecking order of which you stand. So you can even view your social security number, or whatever you call it, whatever country you're in, like that. Because that's exactly what it is. You know, my pecking order number has got 9 frickin' numbers on it and a 5 in the front. Because I come from an area, because the Federal Reserve has everything quadrant, the banks. It's all systemized. You know, people want to act like they don't know what's going on, or the intermediate banks. Everyone knows what's going on. The people at the end do have the receipts. It's not like everything got lost. They do have an idea of where that money is allocated to and who they're going to come and collect it from. When you look at Clinton handing over all our national parks to the United Nations, we don't even own them. We just perform maintenance on them. So there's that article. I'm just going to skip to the next one. I mean, United Nations continues to meet today's challenges. Secretary General reaffirms its remarks at roundtable of Swedish non-governmental organizations. Oh yeah, and Obama going to Copenhagen. It's a land agenda. They talked about that earlier this week. That's flat out what it's called. It said that when the United Nations meets in Copenhagen, it's a land agenda. So Obama going to sign whatever for the Olympics, and yay, the Olympics are coming. You know, oh, we get some of that World Bank economic money, and everyone's going to come and visit us and spend their money. That's what's going to be covered up. This is what's being covered up. It's a land agenda. Secretary General appoints Christine McNabb of Sweden as Deputy Special Representative for Iraq. Activities of Secretary General in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 24th and 25th. See, notice now on the 2nd of October, a week later, now they're releasing it. Even, I mean, there's parts of the UN meetings that they just completely leave out, going, this part was secret, because we don't need to know. Only they need to know. They don't care about us. Not that they should or anything like that, but I think it will help start getting the mindset of where all this crap is coming from. You know, it's, we're talking about the G20 leaders. It's the 3rd time that the wife has even met with the Obamas this year. And the party was hosted at the residence of Teresa Heinz. Oh, whose wife is that of the Heinz family? Oh, Kerry. Oh my God, John Kerry. That's right, when we had 2 fraternity brothers running against each other in 2000. All right, we also got, another press conference held. So there's the highlights. This is where it's coming from, but I guess I really don't know what I'm talking about. I just make silly videos that don't mean anything, or are just like kooky. But the message is that Africa's being mined. That's where all the money's going. China announced in the UN on Monday owns $2 trillion of the United States. What does the United States own? Nothing. 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 So, I mean, we as the U.S. citizens need to wrap our heads around what's going on. Top 2 things to remember. Spells out the principal aims of joint strategic plan for strengthening rule of law worldwide. It's going down. This will explain it to you. I'm going to post all the links. Thank you very much for your time. I'm glad I could just get this out. I know it sounds crazy, but when you stick your head right up the UN's ass, it's pretty ugly, and this is not the energy that I want to have around my children. The television's been in the garage since last year. I think it's hysterical when people post videos of, like Glenn Beck and, this, that, and the other. That's, if you read this, what Glenn Beck's talking about, I mean, this stuff was formulated long before I mean, it's like 50th hand information that you're getting or posting, or I mean, information that you do with it what you want, but you know, just like this video. I mean, hate it, rate it, comment on it. I would love to hear from you. I mean, I'm trying to be a little bit funnier. That's just why I'm putting this one under the Dummy Says protocol. And once again, thank you for your time. Love and gratitude.